Hello everyone, myself Jatin Varu. Today I am going to present a presentation on postcolonial narrative in Indian cinema. Hypothesis of my presentation: Indian cinema, especially after independence, has been important in showing and shaping postcolonial identity. Movies like Lagan and Rang De Basanti provide a deeper understanding of the effect of British colonial rule and complicated nature of postcolonial identity in modern India. Research question of this presentation is: in what ways do films like Lagan and Rang De Basanti address the logical of British colonialism both in their plot lines and characters development? Table of content. First, we get the introduction of postcolonial study. Postcolonial study focus on the cultural, political and social effect of colonialism in regions like Asia, Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean islands. The main focus of postcolonial study is revive the culture of colonized country like Asia, America, Latin America, and especially in Caribbean island. It spread English thought. Colonialism led critics to examine how the language was used in maintain a colonial power. The key figures of this term is Edward Said, known for his work on Orientalism. In his work, we find the Edward Said portrayed the Western characters as the superior and the Asian character and the African character as the inferior. Franz Fanon especially is known by his work like White Skin, Black Mask, and Wretched of the Earth, in which we find he portrayed the character to provide his character to go through the violence. He used violence against the violence, and violence is a tool to fight against British and colonized power. Homike Baba, especially known by his theory of hybridity and modernity, it's mark the lines like a colonialism affect both colonized person and colonizer also. Gayatri Spivak, especially known by subaltern theory and marginalized people's voice. The influence of British colonial in rule. How films comes in India. The films comes in India by Lumiere brothers in 1896. The screening of European films in India. Film culture begins. Theaters adapt the Indian customs, including special seating for women, create unique movies watching the culture. Western influence with Indian twist. D.G. Phalke made Raja Rammohan Raja Harishchandra in 1931. He is considered as the father of Indian cinema. British censorship. Britishers introduced the censorship board in 1981 to filter the movies based on the open for all and only for adult. Now in India, it's compulsory to anyone to have, if he release his movie, he compulsory to get a censorship board certificate for his movie. Rise of Indian study and sound films. Indian cinema grew with the introduction of studio and sound films featuring local language and music, reducing Hollywood's influence. Indian cinema post-independence. Themes like social economic issue, political and social realism, women's right and empowerment, anti-establishment and critique of atrocity. This theme mostly used in the post-independence movies before the independence, like films like Bhavan Shom, based on the themes like unemployment and struggles from working class. Films like Nishant and Manthan provides themes of communal problems and rural hardship. Films like Bhumika and Ghanshankar Radha, based on women's struggles in society and based on women empowerment also. Films like Sholay, based on the traditional practice, often with critical perspective. Films like Satyajit Ray, it's based on focusing on realism and social conventions. And the village and rural life, based this film like Kodiyantr, based on portrait the traditional lifestyle and social issues by the rural life peoples. Case study on Lagan. Introduction. The movie of Lagan was released in 2001. The main protagonist of this movie is Bhuvan, played by Amir Khan. Films highlight the themes like unity and hope. The films awarded by the nomination of best for foreign language film in Oscar. Now we apply subaltern theory in the Lagan movie, giving a voice of the villagers. Movie we find the when we took back on our history, we normally realize the people like farmers and untouchable guys and people who belong from lower caste. Mostly, they were ignored in our history. But this film challenged this idea, and we find in the movie the characters like Bhuvan and Kachara both comes in a lower caste family, and they lead his team towards Britishers in cricket match, fighting colonial power. Villagers use cricket as a tool to fight against Britisher and colonizer and stand up themselves against him. Unity despite difference. When we find in a movie the different caste people came as a team, but in a team we find that there is not a permanent unity. We find a temporary unity. Despite they work as a team, but we find them some misunderstanding and some untouchability in that. Especially the character like Kachra constantly suffer from this type of untouchability problems. Role of woman character like Gori and Elizabeth mostly work as a, no doubt they play important role in a movie, but mostly they work as a behind of the scenes. This time we find how women treat on that time. Mostly they are marginalized and they are under character. They played as under character and they judge as a under characters. The temporary unity, as we discussed, we find there is no any permanent unity. They all are struggle from different problems like untouchability, and people come from lower caste people like that. The second movie is Rang De Basanti. The Rang De Basanti movie is released in 2006. Plot mostly follows a group of university students who, after being a cast of documentary about the Indian freedom fighter like Bhagat Singh, a main character protagonist is DJ played by Amir Khan. He is influenced by Bhagat Singh and his team. He explores the themes like impact of history on present and youth activism. Film awarded by the best film at the Filmfare Award. Patriotism and violence in Rang De Basanti. Patriotism redefined, and Rang De Basanti show the patriotism as an active fight against the injustice. As you all know, the protagonist of this movie, DJ, highly influenced by Bhagat Singh and his group, he used violence against the injustice and corruption of modern time, designed through violence. As we know, the theory of Franz Fanon, he mostly believe in use violence against the violence. Similarly, we find in this movie Bhagat Singh, DJ, who choose the path of violence rather than despite path of non-violence. Rewriting national history, we find in history the theory of non-violence by Gandhi is mostly highlighted by in our Indian history, but the films challenge this idea and they try to change the concept towards non-violence to the violence. The violence and sacrifice for nation building. We know non-violence is played a major role in Indian independence, but we can't underestimate the power of violence like Bhagat Singh, Subhash Chandra Bose, and they all are played a important role to build our nation, like Sardar Patel also. So this film challenged this idea and try to uncover the power of violence of Indian independence. Conclusion: Indian cinema has helped shape post-colonial identity, especially after independence. Movies like Lagan, Rang De Basanti show the impact of British ruler and highlight the Indians' journey towards freedom and unity. This film challenged the colonial idea and focus on themes of national pride and change. In short, Indian cinema continue to explore what it means to free and how India moves towards from its colonial past. References of my work. Thank you. Now, if you have any question regarding my presentation, so you can ask.
So, Jatin, my question is, could you suggest additional movies apart from Rang De Basanti and Lagan that can effectively be analyzed using post-colonial theory?
I mentioned Lagan and Rang De Basanti in my presentation, and I tried to cover how they touch the area of post-colonial studies. And apart from these two movies, we take example of Mother India and Gandhi. They both are touch a similar kind of area of these post-colonial studies. So Jatin, my question is, in your presentation, you discussed Franz Fanon and his perspective on your mentality toward colonization. Could you have identify another thinker or figure with a contrasting perspective on colonizers? As we discussed, Franz Fanon have a idea of towards decolonizers is use violence against the violence. But when we discuss about the contradictory person of this idea, so we find a very familiar example of in our India is he was a Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. He chose a non-violence path towards freedoms and independence. So we find Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi and Franz Fanon both are totally different. Both are have totally different ideology, but they both are same for independence. So this is the end from my side. Thank you.